Welcome back. I'm so excited to be here with Angela Kinsey and Brian Baumgartner, who you know and love as Angela and Kevin from The Office. Welcome.
Hey.
Hello.
Yeah.
Welcome, welcome.
Applaud for us.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, is it so much fun to be working together again?
Yes, it is.
It is.
You tease that it's like kind of like you're like, rah, rah, but you're loving it.
No, it's great.
Look at that face.
I do like
happy
her.
face.
You guys are kind of enjoying it. I gotta ask, you guys, listen, you guys obviously stay in touch with the rest of the Office cast. You guys are now working again together, which is really wonderful. At what point making that show did you know you were making kind of lifelong friends?
Oh man.
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah.
I mean,
Don't sound that surprised.
no, yeah, I was shocked that you said something intelligent. No, part of the thing was the way that the show was shot. We were literally
All in one room.
all in an office bullpen, right? Most of the time on shows, there's like a fake wall that, you know.
Or maybe
so we
you're
were in
just
there.
in one scene, but you're not in this other world. But we were all in the
So
same
we were all
space.
in this room all the time, trying our darndest to make each other laugh.
Yeah.
And you know, I think pretty quickly we bonded and lifelong friends. I don't know, but
It's me and a sinker.
But no,
No.
by a couple years in for sure. And when the show took off, it was
I remember exactly when Jen and I, we were sitting next to each other during the basketball episode, and we just talked all day for like 3 days straight. And then we were walking through the parking lot. We had just finished. It was nighttime, and we locked arm in arm, and we started doing Laverne and Shirley. You guys, Google it. We're old, whatever.
We know Laverne and Shirley.
We did arm in arm, and we started going, Shamil, Shamazel. And we were doing this whole dance, and we didn't know Steve Carell was quietly walking behind us. And we were like, hey! And then he looked at us and he was like, you two, this is what you'll have. No matter what happens to the show, this is what you got. And he was right.
And he was absolutely right. And then it went on for years and years. You know, obviously everyone's always like, reboot. When are you guys going to get the gang back together? Let me ask a different question.
Oh,
yeah. Look at that.
Well, okay.
If you could have one character have a spin-off, who would you want to follow?
Oh, man. I mean, what would you say? I know what I say.
I think that there could be a very cool story about the accountants that used to sit in the corner.
That's right. That's right.
We love a plug. So Angela and Kevin just go off to do that.
And Oscar.
And Oscar.
Okay.
Maybe things didn't work out with Angela and Dwight, and she's living with Oscar again.
Yeah, exactly.
We move in with you. I don't know.
I would absolutely watch that. I obviously also have to bring up the Scarn.
Yes.
And I am apologizing. I'm going to have to look down to make sure I get the name right. Billie Eilish. Because you guys are pals now. I met
her in an airport, and she was so sweet. And she came up to me, and she was like, can I get a picture with you? And I was like, sure. And I'm 100, so I don't know, you know? And then she posted it, and all of these people were like messaging me like, oh my gosh, you know Billie. And then I Googled Billie Eilish, and then I was like, oh, she's a very talented young lady, and I wish her well.
So the same thing, I mean, there's the video with her. The same thing happened to me with Post Malone.
Wait, what?
No. There was a photo out there that my niece, all these people kept sending me saying, is this you and Post Malone? And it's on the interwebs, on the social media. And to me, I had on a black shirt, and I thought it was a bad edit job, because like Post Malone, Kevin Malone, because people would post it and say like Kevin Post Malone.
Yeah.
So I was like,
that's actually very
no, somebody faked it. So I went back and I Googled and I found his Twitter, and he himself had posted the photo like a year before. So maybe at an establishment that serves alcohol at some point in time, clearly, because I'm holding one, he came up and asked for a picture, and I didn't put anything together. He posted it, and so a year later, I posted it on mine. It was like, Kevin Post Malone, let's go.
Get a new show. I think you guys are just you should just be on these albums. Background dancing, samples. I think you got this relationship going. Let's talk about a younger generation, especially thanks to The Office being on Netflix.
Yes.
But just like, this show is a real comfort to people. Does it surprise you to have a whole new generation kind of discovering it and really finding comfort in it?
It's insane.
Dude,
I'm sorry to interrupt you.
It's more popular now than it was when we were on the air.
That's what we talked when we were like texting. Rainn Wilson, like a month ago, I was saying, like I feel like the show is as big as it was when we were getting, 15, 20 million people a night on Thursday nights. And he said the same. He said, no, it's bigger. I mean, for us, because it's the people who watched it originally. I mean, I'm not going to say old people because they're not. Hashtag me.
Hashtag
but,
this is 40.
Yeah, but also now you have people like 15, 16, 17,
8-year-olds.
18.
Yeah. 8-year-olds.
No, but 15-year-olds were born the year we started.
What? When you were, not when I was.
You were born that year, too.
I know.
It's amazing.
That was just a few years ago.
No, but is that thrilling? Does it feel like, oh my gosh, I have to relive this all again?
It's amazing. It's amazing. I love the show. I'm actually a fan of the show. I think it's
that's what I tell
really,
people.
really great. I went back and rewatched a few episodes recently, and I was watching Dinner Party, and I watched Diversity Day. I watched Health Insurance. It is so funny. I have to tell you guys that someone messaged me online and said, you laugh in the healthcare episode, you break. Oh. And I was like, what? So I went back to watch it. And when Rainn Wilson as Dwight says hot dog fingers, I lose it. And we're standing and accounting. Not only do I lose it, I go like this. And Brian, because he's the tattletale of the group, Brian goes like that. It's in there.
It's actually in there.
They left it in there. It's like 3 seconds. You have to watch when Rainn says hot dog fingers. The camera whips to accounting, and I go like this, and you go.
I'm gonna watch.
Oh my god!
Real quick, let me ask you though. Do you guys have a favorite episode? You just named so many episodes so easily. Do you have like the one that you love, or the one that you love for your character?
For me, it's about yeah. I mean, for me, character-wise. There would be two. One is when Holly thinks Kevin is slow.
Oh my gosh.
Those series of episodes.
That was ridiculous. That was so hard, to not laugh in those. When she came up to your desk, I was like, oh my gosh.
But the moment for me is the chili.
The chili.
Let's talk about that chili. I want to hear your favorite episode real quick. But I want to bring up this Instagram. We're going to bring up this Instagram. You said, I have been bought many drinks in my life from strangers, but this is a first. Hashtag chili. When you got that script, were you aware you were filming the most tragic scene?
The saddest thing.
In all of TV. Dare I say all of film history.
It's just running on a loop right there, that moment. I thought it was funny. I think in the moment, when we read it, I was like, oh, this is amazing. When we were filming it, it truly was very, this is not probably what people want to hear. It was very technical because it was a humongous pot of chili that was going to make a gigantic mess. And so that whole area, there was, spoiler alert, there was carpet on top of carpet, right? Because otherwise the carpet was going to be ruined. So it was the same carpet, but on top. They had gigantic pieces of carpet. They said, we have 3 of these, Brian. So you can't screw it up any more than that.
Yeah.
But
sure.
One take. One take.
My man.
One take.
Yep. They call me One Take Wonder. That's all I'm going to say. No, but I was so filthy. The story I always tell is,
oh my gosh.
Truthfully, there's a very fancy steakhouse in Beverly Hills, and Oscar and Angela and I would go there on occasion.
We would have dinner.
We would have dinner, just like a fun night out.
I'm sorry, I love this.
That night, we had one scheduled. So they leave. It was just me, obviously, filming that. Shower, scrub, wash, scrub, baby wipes, everything. I sat down to dinner, and we're sitting there, and I was just like
what is that smell?
I can't get it off me. So here we are. We're eating Oscar in his seafood tower. And I'm smelling like.
First of all, Oscar, when you go out to dinner with him, he turns into the Godfather. He's like, yeah, we'll have that. We'll have that.
Yeah, we'll have some of that.
Yeah. Next thing, we have this thing, and I'm almost embarrassed when they bring it to the table. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, we don't eat shellfish. He's like, yeah, we'll have one of the towers. Let's do that.
You do it like a shooter, Angel. Do it.
This is going to be the good thing. Just real quick before we get to the game that I want to play with you both. Your favorite episode?
I have so many. I love Dinner Party. It's so good. Dwight brought his weird babysitter as his date, and she's gnawing on that bone. And I thought that Steve Carell and Melora Hardin, Jan and Michael, that was one of the most awkward dinners I've ever sat at.
Yeah.
And it just, and when he showed us his flat screen TV so proudly, you know, like, oh my gosh, that show just.
So it felt awkward while you were filming it.
Oh, it was so awkward. It was so awkward. And I mean, I love all the Christmas episodes too. I love the party planning committee, and obviously I love throwing a cat in a ceiling. I mean, I didn't love it. Like, I felt bad for the cat. But that is one of my favorite cold opens ever.
It was like a thing off the bucket
Yeah.
list.
I'm only 82 pounds.
All right, well, listen, we're going to do this. We're going to play a quick game, right?
Okay.
You guys are here for Bring Your Beer to Work Day.
Yes.
Which sounds a little like a holiday that Meredith made up.
Yes.
But it's a real holiday. It's this Friday. Am I getting that right?
That's
All
right.
So we've got some Heinekens here. Now, these are non-alcoholics, right?
That's right. It's Heineken 0.0, alcohol-free, but I mean, you guys, it tastes so good. You have like a sip of it and you're like, oh, that's a Heineken.
Oh, so this is going to be the game.
Okay.
All right. Are you ready?
Okay.
Because you guys both played accountants.
Yes.
All right. I'm going to ask you some math questions.
Okay.
And if you answer it incorrectly
Oh,
or
no.
wrong, time to take a sip, my
You
friend.
don't want me to do that.
Oh my God.
A
All right,
little
here we
bit of
go.
a drinking game.
Oh,
all right?
let's see who's better at the numbers.
I'm not
Let's
good at math.
go.
I'm not good at math.
Go.
Can you tell me
No.
what PEMDAS stands for?
PIM? P-E?
Numbers.
PEMDAS.
PIMDAS.
You know what?
It's an acronym. It's an
Oh,
acronym.
now you're just looking at the prompter.
It's an acronym for, no.
PEMDAS?
Oh, that
Oh, thank you for the buzzer.
yeah.
That's
That
helpful.
does taste like Heineken.
It does.
I had to drink two though because I didn't know it is an acronym for the words parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction. I don't know. According to PEMDAS though,
What?
which problem would you solve first in this equation? And we're gonna bring it up on the board here, or we've got it right down there.
What would you solve first?
What would you solve first?
In the parentheses, 9 times
I would-
6 is 54 plus 3. Wait!
I would do the outside of the
57.
parentheses first.
Wait, but what do you don't have to solve the whole problem. Just which one do you tackle first?
In the parentheses.
In the parentheses.
In the
right?
parentheses, congratulations. Couple
I
of
was going to
counts.
solve it.
Oh.
Could you?
I just was.
I'm just doing light
57?
lifts. I'm just getting ready.
What is the square root of 16?
4.
4.
Okay. You guys pretended like you don't know
Oh,
nothing about
dang.
math. Now we're just drinking for fun. Which is higher, 10 to the third power or 3 to the 10th power?
Oh, I don't.
Probably 3 to the 10.
3 to the 10th. You guys
Boom!
are crushing it.
Nice.
Numbers.
Let's go.
All right.
What's the buzz for?
That's because you guys are killing it.
Okay.
Last question. If your bill's $100, how much should you leave for a tip?
120.
20%?
I just said 120.
You guys are, I mean, you're an over tipper, and I like that too. Up top, no, you said 20. Good job.
All right.
You guys killed it. Cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you so much for coming on the show. You guys are an absolute delight. I do hope the Kevin and Angela show gets picked up.
Yes.
You heard it here first, Hollywood.
The
All right.
accountants.
National Bring Your Beer to Work Day is Friday, April 26th. I'm sure we'll all be celebrating in our own way. Don't go away. We're reading more of your tweets next.